How cute. How cute that they won tonight. How cute. The funniest part to me, the most ironic part about this entire thing, right? Not a single multi-goal comeback from this team over the course of every single game. All 80 games prior to this, not a single multi-goal comeback. Post-elimination, there it is. And Florida probably wasn't even giving it their all, to be honest with you. So I'm not sitting here and acting like anything impressive happened, because truthfully, that would be a lie. But also, wait, they won with Gabe Perreault and Brennan Othman in the lineup. I thought that wasn't possible. According to the head coach, I thought that they can't win with those guys in the lineup. So that's very interesting that they were able to win with those two in the lineup. Very interesting. But yeah, I'm not even going to spend time really talking about this game, to be honest with you, because there's really no point. Like what am I going to sit here and talk about? The only thing that I'll say is that it is stupid to me, and I did not watch the entirety of this game. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I don't understand why though. On the power play, they put the veterans out there over Othman, over Perot, and it just again it makes zero sense. And then Brett Berard sitting, it just why I don't get it when you're eliminated, but whatever. They're going cupping. They're going cupping this year, so it's fine. We are in the clear here, right? I'm not going to spend much time talking about this game though, because there was stuff that transpired obviously on the off day that really deserves a lot of the attention in all of this, just because of the fact that when a player speaks out, and the fact that we are sitting here now, and this is probably what, the fifth or sixth player to speak out against the organization, that speaks a lot of volumes. It really speaks a lot of volumes, and not any great volumes at all. So it's not great. But in terms of if anyone's living under a rock and they missed it yesterday, I'm trying to find it. That's why I'm yapping here as I go. Here we go. I think I finally found it. Calvin DeHaan with how things went. So there we go. This is from Peter Baugh. Calvin DeHaan, a scratch the past 18 games, was frustrated walking onto the ice, saying he's just wasting time. He's frustrated with how he's been treated. After a conversation with Rangers PR, he decided he will wait until the end of the year to fully address the situation, which I believe led to him replying to Johnny Lazarus's tweet with a very interesting reply saying, "Going to get ahead of this now. I was hoping that I would have been able to express this in a scrum versus a quote as I was getting onto the ice and having it on the internet 30 seconds later. I said what I said because I am frustrated, and any competitor who says that they would be happy in this position would be lying to you. After playing 3 games for the team, going 2-0-1, I thought maybe I would have got an opportunity to jump in the lineup and help win some games. Did I help win those games I played? Maybe, maybe not. But we still won and collected some crucial points to climb the standings. I understand the youth movement in the NHL, and I'm getting older in my hockey years, and I may not play every single night. I feel like I still can contribute and help teams win. I know I'm not going to play 20 minutes a night in the role I've been in the past few years, but again, I feel like I could still keep up and help a team in certain facets of the game. I'm not trying to be the villain or gain attention or throw shade on the organization. I would have preferred a scrum setting to chat about how my time with the Rangers has gone. As a player, you have to respect the lineup decisions, whether you like them or not. It's just frustrating not being able to compete and do what I love. I hope everyone understands. To that, I say, speak your damn mind. Every single fan wants to hear it, to the point where if this somehow results in Chris Drury losing his job, Calvin DeHaan's the folk hero we didn't know we needed. And he's absolutely right to be pissed off. And I've been saying it here on the channel, and I get it. Like, Calvin DeHaan wasn't some world beater. Like, let's be completely honest here. He wasn't some world beater. He wasn't anything special in those games. But I get being pissed off. And The fact, though, is that it's another player pissed off. Then you have Pavel Buchnevich liking the quotes going around online. And then you have, articles just basically being like, Chris Drury treating players poorly. He would never. And then you see the article resurface of how he treated Kravtsov in front of the teammates in Hartford and how that situation went down. It's just such a mess. And all I could say is that I don't understand how you could look at this as an owner, see a toxic work culture being developed in that locker room, and say, you know what? Let's keep Chris Drury around. And this tells me, though, everything that we already knew. This just confirms further that if Chris Drury doesn't lose his job, he is 1,000,000% just a lapdog to Dolan, because there is no way, with how many players have spoke out, that he hasn't been fired. There's just no way. Barkley Goudreau, and again, I want to make this clear. Say what you want about the players that have spoke out. I have said my piece with these players, but at the same time, it gets to a point where if they're speaking out, like, it doesn't make it any right, is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't make it, just because we think certain things about players doesn't mean it's right that they are treated a certain way in the locker room. So Goudreau, Kakko, Kravtsov, Buchnevich, who was liking the post, now Dahan, Jimmy Vesey, Trouba after leaving. So what does that tell you here? I just named 7 players, and I'm probably forgetting some as well. So you have numerous players who have complained over the course of the last few seasons, especially this season. And Zach Jones, too, is another player I didn't even mention. But yeah, Jones as well. Yeah. Can I pull up comments? All right, cool. StreamYard's not working for pulling up comments. That's wonderful. Unless I. Oh, wait. There we go. Yeah, Jones too. Where was I? Yeah. With the players speaking out. So the fact that you have players, Elias Anderson too. Yeah, you have so many players that have spoke out about Chris Drury's terrible culture, and you don't look at this, and especially with this year, how many players have. How does it not raise eyebrows to anyone? Very worrisome. And this is why I've said for weeks now, going forward, I do not care who they hire as the head coach. I do not care if Mika Zibanejad is gone. I do not care if Chris Kreider is gone. I do not care if Keandre Miller is gone. Because one, do you trust Chris Drury to replace those guys? And number two, it does not matter when the toxic work culture still exists. Who wants to play in this environment? I'm telling you, they're going to have to overpay an obnoxious amount of money to get players to come here. Who wants to come here right now? Seeing all of these players that have said bad things about the team, and just seeing from the out, because we see it as fans from the outside looking in. Imagine being a player in the Rangers locker room, or being a player in the NHL looking at this Rangers group and just seeing how much of a mess it is and how much things are unfolding here. How do you not sit here as a player and be like, you know what? This is a team that's on my list of I don't want to play here. Because I sure as hell, even as a fan who would dream to play for my childhood team, if I was a player, I would not want to be involved in this work environment. No way. There is no way. And this is why I don't even know who's going to want to come here to coach right now. I really don't. And that's also going to cost a lot of money. We're hearing Frank Saravalli mention Rick Tockett's name. Obviously, Tortorella's been mentioned. But then you have Elliot Friedman saying Tocchet might get extended in Vancouver. So who the hell knows what's going on there in terms of, the coaching front or what's going to happen. All I know is that it really does not matter if Chris Drury is the GM. And it especially does not matter if Tortorella or Tocchet are coming in, because those are two guys that will only just amplify how much of a toxic work environment this is. It's not good. It's really not good at all. And I just have a lot of bad feelings with the way things are going to be going forward more than I already, uh, more than I already feel. So the only positive I could say coming out of tonight is that honestly, win these last two games so Chris Drury doesn't have to even think about doing anything stupid with that draft pick. Just let it go to Pittsburgh, which I had comments in my you know what, I have to address a couple of things there. I had people in my comments being like, thank goodness this guy's not the GM. He wants to give our pick to Pittsburgh. No, I don't want to give the pick to Pittsburgh, but this is the hand that we're dealt with, and I'd rather have the draft pick for next year in a loaded draft class or to use as ammo in the event, which they're not going to rebound, but in the, rare, in the slight event, I should say, I don't know why I said rare, the slight event that they do rebound. I'd rather have that first round pick for next year. And also, speaking of comments, this has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. Fucking shit, I'm sorry. Because you would think that I said one of the worst possible things in the world last live stream when I was saying that I would not want Mark Messier as the GM or the coach. And when I said, shut up to what he was saying and his ideas, had I known that that was going to cause so much controversy here, I wouldn't have said a word. I'm so sorry that I offended everyone by saying, shut up, Mark Messier, even though I did not want to hear what he was saying at all in terms of the boomer takes that he was giving. Sorry, I did not want to listen. I didn't watch him as a player. That's true. And you know what? It sucks that I didn't. It sucks. Maybe I can't relate. But all I know is from what I'm hearing from someone born with a completely different view of hockey, with a different era of hockey, all I could say is that I don't like I don't like what he says. Wayne Gretzky was not a good coach or GM. So let's stop this. And I am sorry. I am so sorry that I I hurt the feelings of the Mark Messier fan club. I am very sorry because I'm just scrolling through the comments and I just see, how dare you tell Mark Messier to shut up? Who are you? Fucking sorry. All right. Leave a like if you have not already. Subscribe. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat right now. I just thought I would bring that up because, yes, how dare me not agree with Mark Messier? I'm sorry. What do I know? And this is fine. You could love Mark Messier. I love Mark Messier, even though I didn't watch him play and I didn't watch the Rangers hoist the cup in '94. I love him for winning a Stanley Cup for this team. But I do not agree at all with what he said. So I apologize. Yes. Yes. Pretty much. So let's see. What else are you guys saying in the chat right now? Saw people saying we're playoff bound earlier. Fuck yeah, we are. How would he be a shitty GM? How was Wayne Gretzky as a coach? How was Barry Trotz one of the best head coach? How is Barry Trotz looking in Nashville right now? Just because you're good at one thing does not mean it correlates to the other. I don't know why we have to have this conversation in the night out here. But this is why, again, go ahead and hire Mark Messier. So then when it fails, we could just stop talking about Messier every single time there's a personnel change. And this is fine. If he wants to be part of the organization in some regard, sure. Sure. Like, come in as an advisor, come in as a I don't know what I'm trying to think of. Come in as some sort of advisor. Sure, we'll just say that. If he wants to come in as an advisor, okay, I have no problem with that. But to throw him right in the GM role or the coach role is just silly. I'm sorry, it is just silly. You don't do that. You just do not do that at all. He has to work his way up in some regard. Coach at least at a juniors level or college level. Exactly. As some sort of advisor or assistant on a staff, sure. Sure. But the main guy manning the ship, no. That can't be the case until he proves and works his way up. Knobloch coached in the AHL. What are you talking about here? Knobloch worked his way up. He was an assistant coach in plenty of destinations too before being the Hartford coach. Unless you're agreeing with me, but you were just saying before the other thing, so I don't think you were. But Knobloch built his way up to be a head coach. Yeah, Messier would play Rempe 20 minutes a night. Exactly. I again, I'm just did Jeter fix the Marlins? Exactly. Oh, no, you're good. You're good. Sorry, I thought you were saying Knobloch. I thought you were saying otherwise. You're good there, MJ. Exactly. Cooper never played hockey and built his way up, or at least at like a high level. Did Michael Jordan fix the Hornets? Like, do we understand now how silly of a conversation this is when there's no track record to back that this would work? You could be the biggest Mark Messier fan in the world. You could love him to death. But to sit here and act like he would be like some wizard as a GM or a coach, you're basing that off of nothing. Again, I'm wrapping that conversation up. I'm tired of having it every single night. I'm not even addressing it anymore, to be honest with you. I'm really not going to address it anymore. So, like, if anyone comments it, whatever. I'm just ignoring it because it's every single night at this point that I'm having this conversation, and it's exhausting. It's really just exhausting at this point. So, yeah, again, I'm just I'm not doing that. This also, like, there are just so many examples here. And again, if he comes in advisor role, I won't bat an eye. But it's just it's silly that we're still doing this every single night. At least in at least in my opinion. Um this is uh, this is completely now playing revisionist history here because were we calling Marty St. Louis a great head coach 3 weeks ago? And they still might miss the playoffs. Let's see what they do in the playoffs before saying he's a good head coach. So again, we're going in circles here.
What's up?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The Habs are going through a major rebuild, but what about Marty St. Louis? What do you like about him as a head coach? What do you see him do out there that you say, all right, he's a good head coach? What do you say?
At least St. Louis coached at a lower level because I'm pretty sure he coached prep school, high school. So even
At
then,
least there's something there too. Yeah.
there's a resume. It's not much, but it's something. Messier hasn't done anything.
He develops young players, but the Rangers are not in a position to where they are doing that. They're not. They still think that they could contend. And listen, I'll say it right now. I sure as hell do not think that. I don't think one bit that they should be going in the direction of trying to contend still. You guys know that. But this is what it is. And even if they were going in a rebuild direction, I would still want Messier to build his way up. I would still want him to be an assistant coach on the staff of a rebuilding team to get experience. So, and who's to say Mark Messier is the type of coach that would develop young guys? Am I doing a NHL draft party live stream? Yes, I will do a draft live stream. There'll be live streams all summer. That July 1st. Yeah, and this is why he's not getting the job.
We need to stop with this whole Messier thing. It's not gonna work.
It's every single night. It's every single night.
I mean, even my point that I brought up in the chat was, look at Steve Yzerman, and Steve Yzerman had prior experience as a GM. Like people love to give him credit for what he did with Tampa. Okay, Detroit hires him as this all time legendary player, and don't get me wrong, Steve Yzerman, one of the best players to ever play in the NHL. But look what he's done as GM, nothing. He's coming in. The Red Wings have failed to make the playoffs year after year after year after year. Does not mean anything. And instead, you're just hurting your legacy if at that point. Like
That's the thing too.
like
Like
I'm sure Red Wing fans don't wanna hate on hate on Steve Yzerman because of what he did for that franchise. I mean, the guy won 3 Stanley Cups as Red Wings captain. He's all-time great over there, and it's like, I get and listen, I get it because at a point you separate coach from player because things shouldn't overlap with each other, but it's hard to turn on a guy like that when he's done so much of your franchise as a player, and then he comes, to your team as an executive and he flops.
yeah, that's the other thing. Like if it doesn't work out as him being a coach or GM, then how are Ranger fans going to view Mark Messier? So, like, do we really want to risk him tarnishing the legacy that he has here? Yeah, this is another example too. Brian Trottier. It just again, it's a silly conversation. I get that people love the idea. I get that people love Mark Messier, and you don't have to stop loving Mark Messier. But it's just again, the idea is just absolutely yeah, it's just silly at this point. It really is. Um, for a team that already has no direction, bring in a guy that has no experience in any single regard in either role would just be that would be a Wilpon Mets level move to do that.
Yeah, and yeah, what JT said, a young mind that understands modern NHL is needed.
Yeah, who said
Both
that?
JT Callahan '07 on
Oh
X.
yeah, there we go. Yeah,
And
yeah,
not only behind the bench as a guy who you need a young, fresh mind with modern innovations, you need behind the bench. You also need a guy like that in the front office. Like I get, like Jury is young, he's not old or anything, but he has the mentality of a fucking dinosaur. One analytics guy in your whole front office in modern day NHL, in modern day sports. and also for a franchise that's one of the richest in the NHL, and they have the departments of a team from the fucking 1970s. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, and bringing in Mark Messier, all that's going to do is add to it. And we got someone else joining that, loves the idea of Mark Messier being a head coach or GM, of course. What's going on, Phil?
Oh man, I was on my way home and I saw the notification for your live stream and I started listening into it and I heard that and I was like, we're at this again.
No wonder. No wonder why you DM'd wanting to join.
We've been at this level for a while now.
Every night I get these comments now. Every single night, and I don't know if you listened to how this all started, but I was apologizing because in the comments I
heard you apologizing.
Yeah, shut up! Don't tell Messier to shut up.
It's so dumb. It really is. I'm sorry. It's just like I love Mark Messier, and let me be clear. Like what he said on the Saturday broadcast, those bullet points he made, they're correct. Like they need to establish an identity. They need to bring in a captain. They need to have some sort of leadership because obviously, what the fuck is this leadership group? Or the lack thereof, or whatever sorry excuse of a unit that's together right now that are wearing A's. Like what's going on with this? Because it's not. There's no leadership. Strong and stable leadership would have actually nipped this thing in the bud back in like November, and they would have never quit the way that they did. And it just goes to show you the character of the guys that are leading the unit right now. So I don't think Chris Drury should be able to make the decision on who's next in terms of the coaching and the players and everything like that. But Messier wasn't really wrong in anything that he said. I will say that. However, that does not mean that Mark Messier is qualified to be a general manager nor a head coach. And you brought up the Gretzky example so many times, but Mark Messier has not coached at any level. He has not been an executive at any level. What has he done? Who has he served under? Who has he studied?
Yep.
What is he going to do? Take a position as a guy that's completely off the street and just ask Glenn Sather for help? What is this? Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Phone a friend every time he has to make a decision. He calls Glenn Sather for help. Come on. This is ridiculous at this point. So, no, Messier doesn't have any experience. That Mickey kid, my God, won't shut up about it. Every time I bring up something about coaching, he's in my mentions. Oh, Mark Messier, I won't let it go. Don't hold your breath, kid. Don't hold your breath. I see Mark in the chat. Hello, Mark. Q, Quenville. Yeah, that's a name that's going to be brought up, and that's going to be a name that's going to piss off a lot of people. So, well, everybody who's going to get triggered by that, and I get it. I understand it. I understand what happened. I know about everything, yes. And I know a lot of people are not going to – the Q was a typo. Yeah, okay.
Mark even messing up in the comment section.
By design.
Yeah, that was by design.
By design. But no, I mean, Quenville is – it's going to be a name that's going to be brought up. Johnny Lazarus spoke about it today. If you listen to DFO with Frank Saravalli, Tyler Yaremchuk, and Johnny Lazarus on there when he came on. So, I mean, don't be surprised if the Rangers interviewed Jay Pandolfo, Bluegrass, saying, yeah, I could see that. I don't know if he's going to leave, but no, I definitely can see that happening. I don't think Rick Tocchet is going to be brought in because
hopefully not.
Why would they bring in a guy that had – there was an issue there with him and JT Miller and everything like that.
Yeah.
Why would they bring him in to deal with a player that caused problems for him in Vancouver? And now, like you said before, Freeman's saying he might be extended. And I don't think Tocchet's the problem there. I think the locker room rift was the big problem. I think the lack of defensive depth behind Quinn Hughes is a problem. And I think their goaltending just not being healthy this season was a problem. Kevin Lankinen is not good enough to be a starter. Neither is Artur Shilov's, and you don't really have the depth behind Demko if an injury happens. So I just wonder, can they bring back Brock Besser? Is that someone that the Rangers are going to target in free agency? I don't think a lot of this is Tockett's fault. I think he's a good coach, but is he a needle mover? No. Is he going to excite any of you guys if he's the guy that's one of the finalists? No. The only retread that would excite me any little bit is Sullivan, and that's it. That's it.
I mean, to be honest, and I've said this, Evans repeated this. As long as Drury's hiring the next coach, I'm not going to be moved by anybody. Because I just think that they're going to fail no matter what under this group of players and under him as GM. I have no trust within anyone in this organization right now, from top to bottom.
I just don't know how all of this could happen. And Macklin Celebrini scored another. He's just so good, man. He's unreal. But I don't know how this whole thing can happen, and all these different guys can come out, and all this stuff can come out, and he can still keep his job. Any other organization, he's gone.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is a good one from Bluegrass. What did you guys? Well, I can't speak for Evan and Matt, but Peter Laviolette, what I was drawn to with him is that he's an established head coach that's taken 3 different teams to Stanley Cup Finals. He's one of a very select few head coaches that have actually done that and has won at least once. The amount of coaches that have won with 2 different organizations in the modern era, I think there's only one. I think it's Bowman, and that's it. So it's tough to win on multiple teams as a coach, but Laviolette has a great pedigree. I liked his system, especially what they were playing last year when they were playing the 1-3-1. And it seems like the players didn't want to play it. They stopped playing it, like I said, for the time last year. And from like late December till about the beginning of February, they struggled and they were very inconsistent. And then they started playing it again. And then they went on that ridiculous run in February, and they finished the season pretty strong. But this year, he's played more of a man-to-man defense, and it's been a problem. And his refusal to go away from that, I don't know why. I if I had to guess, it would be because the players didn't want to play that system last year, and he wasn't going to get that out of them this year, and he knew that. But yeah, I like the play. I like the coach. I like the X's and O's. I like the experience. But I mean, seeing the way he handled everything, he lost me big time. Big time. And the decisions. You have Calvin DeHaan sitting there wanting to play. And I'm not saying Calvin DeHaan's great by any means. Analytically, they said he was pretty good those 3 games. I didn't like him in the Washington game. I thought he was shit in that game. But you have that guy waiting on your bench to play, willing to play. And you're going to continue to trot out Carson Soucy, who looks like a flaming bag of dog shit sliding around on the ice. Like, how are you going to continue to play that guy every night when he's bad? And I get it. He's playing with Adam Fox, the position that he should not be playing in. Again, Rangers play a defenseman above their pay grade. Go figure. Well, welcome to the 20th century, because the Rangers have been doing that for over 30 years now. But Carson Soucy's terrible. Objectively terrible. The analytics tell you it. The eye test tells you it. Like, you don't need to understand hockey at the highest level to understand that Carson Soucy plays worse than my dead grandmother. Yeah. Like, I just at this point, like, get him out of the lineup. Do something.
There's no reason.
He pressed all the right buttons last year, and now he doesn't even bother to try to push a button this year. What happened?
Yeah, and the fact that he openly said that he doesn't have a message anymore, that also was very concerning. That was more concerning to me than him saying that he doesn't go in the locker room after losses. But to answer the question why I want Laviolette, just if I can remember a lot of the things I said in the live streams that I did. But, one of the big things is that I thought he was going to be more of a disciplinarian for this group, which he has, just not in the right regard at all in certain ways. The other reason that I want him is I looked at the stats of how he was under Nashville, and the stats for that team, like top 5v5 team most of the years, if not all the years that he was in Nashville in terms of the numbers. So that was another reason why I really wanted Peter Laviolette to come in. And when I looked at the Washington roster that he was working with last year, I thought, all right, well, he's handed such a shit roster. Like, it's not entirely his fault with Washington, and people are going to point to Carberry now and give him all the credit, but let's not pretend that they haven't had both career years from players, and on top of that, they haven't made changes to help that team improve in any way since Laviolette has been moved. So those are the reasons why I want him. And then I also thought the whole narrative that he was bad with young players was overblown, because he was part of the development of guys like Claude Giroux in Philadelphia, and then guys like Philip Forsberg in Nashville. So those were my reasons, at least, but that I'll let you jump in.
I wanted Laviolette simply for the fact that, and you also did this on your stream when we were looking at potential coaches, but I wanted him for the 5v5 numbers, because his teams were both in, Carolina, Philly, Nashville, and he was there. They were always pretty much top 10 teams at 5v5 play. And I thought, eventually, with the system coming here, because, this team had lacked a proper system under Gerard Gallant, I was like, okay, maybe if a actual proper coach comes in with the system, maybe things could eventually change around. Maybe there's a D style and a system implemented, and maybe you'll start to see guys like the top guys like Panarin start to finally turn around and actually play well and look good, and also for the fact that I thought he would also come in and be a disciplinarian. I still think, for me, I don't regret the hire. Like if we were to go back to 2 years ago, I would still make the same hire again. I don't have any regrets over that. I just simply think that not that Laviolette was set up to fail, because he also he kind of was, though, but he also does have to take some responsibility because of some of the lineup decisions that he's made. But I mean, when you go in there to a locker room and you're coaching a bunch of guys that, for now, and there's been evidence to show from coach to coach that they refuse to buy into systems after a little bit. Once they get comfortable and they feel like they're good to go, they automatically check out. Because we can all go back to the start of last season, from the start of the season in October to about the end of November when that Bruins game played. While the offense wasn't there, because they were probably only a one-line team at that point, the defense and the whole defensive structure and the 1-3-1, they were one of the better defensive teams in the league. And then all of a sudden, like Phil said, they just stopped playing it, and they didn't want to buy into that system. And I just think, like, and then I get it with a couple weeks ago how Laviolette went out and said that pretty much he doesn't go into the locker room and, he doesn't have a message for the team. Listen, I get it from a professional standpoint. That's probably not the best thing to say, and it's probably not the best look for him. But can you really blame him? I mean, look at some of the guys in this locker room. The guys who are wearing letters, they actively do not give a fuck. They don't. So at what point as a coach do you say it's like how many times can I repeat myself before I'm like, okay, I'm just done. I'm checked out. And he eventually got to that point. And like I said, professionally, is it the best thing to say? No. But do I blame him? No, I don't. Listen, I think while Peter Laviolette isn't the same coach that we've seen from his Carolina days through Philly to Nashville, where he took that team to the final, but I think he's a lot better of a coach than he's shown over the last year. And I think if he was put into a better situation, he would actually look like a much better competent coach. Like I said, I'm not saying that he's like top of the line coach anymore, but I still think that he's much better than what he's showing right now. I just think he's simply checked out, and he doesn't just give a shit anymore, and he's counting down the days till he gets fired and he leaves.
And on top of that as well, like, some of the same people in my live chat, and myself included, we all were giving Laviolette so much praise and credit for last year. You can't give him all the credit for last year and then also say, well, he's the only issue here, because that's just completely unfair. And I disagree with this because it's statistically true that Nashville was a better team, and it wasn't just because of Rene. Like, it was a statistically true thing.
In the chat, by the way. Who the fuck is that idiot?
I don't know. I'll get him out of here though. But either way, I disagree with this entirely, because the actual numbers, the expected numbers, whatever you look at, say that Nashville was a good 5v5 team under Peter Laviolette when he was there.
It's sad in a way, because I kind of agree with Matt. He was sort of set up for failure because he came into a core that wasn't willing to do what it takes to win and didn't want to play the way that they needed to play to win in the playoffs. He brought in a system. He implemented it. They started playing it, and they were playing well. And then, certain guys, I guess, dissented against it, and they didn't want to play it. And you saw, like I said, for a month and a half where they squandered. And then they went into the playoffs, and they got far. And I don't understand it. I really don't understand why they have such an issue with this system. They really can't. So, yeah, he was sort of given a good roster, but he was not given a good roster in a way, because this is another team that they're built for regular season success. They're not built for playoff success. And that's why this team hasn't won in 6 years, 3 coaches, whatever the case may be. You can talk about David Quinn being a dumbass. Yeah, he is. Terrible. Gallant came in. He was a better coach. He was a massive upgrade over Quinn. He didn't want to make any adjustments, yada, yada. They didn't have the right wing depth. I get it. Okay. Now you bring in a guy that's probably going to go into the Hall of Fame. And they still fail with him. Yeah, because it's the core that they have is just, it's a cancer. It's a cancer. And now things have to change. I forget who it was, but someone was saying that, like, a lot of the kids should be playing the prime minutes. And they tried to discipline Zibanejad. They tried to get him. And they benched him for 1 game. And then he was back in the lineup the next game. What, did he go to Drury and cry about it? Is that what happened? Like, we don't know, but I really do think that we're anywhere from 12 to 24 months away from something coming out on, like, Spittin' Chicklets or Empty Netters or some other podcast, whether it's like The Sheet with Marek or someone like that, or DFO, whatever, Sarah Valley. And you're going to hear about all this dissension in the locker room between the players, the coaches, and the GM, and how it was like a 3-way triple threat match in, like, WWE. So I just, JT said it's possible that Drury micromanaged Laviolette. Yeah, maybe that's the case too. Maybe that, I don't know what happened. I have no behind the scenes access. I don't have any connections that can tell you that this and that happened. If I hear something somehow, I would definitely say it, but I have not heard anything. That's a possibility.
I mean, I've had a feeling of that for years now, because even going back to last year, going down the stretch, look at how long it took for them to break up the Trouba and Keandre pairing. Like, and that pairing had been playing for years under different coaches. Same thing with Mika and Kreider. And for me, I looked at it, I'm like, there's just no physical explanation that 3 coaches in a row would pair the same guys together and not change anything about it. Like that just makes no sense at all. So there has to be something coming from the top. And I think a lot of the complaining, because even we heard after 2023, after they lost to the Devils, we heard that Jacob, or even before that, but Jacob Trouba went to Drury and demanded that they get help because of the whole fucking Gallant situation that was going in the locker room. And then the same thing, this year, Laviolette tries to bench Mika, and then he does it for a game, and then all of a sudden Mika's back on the first line getting top line minutes. So I think Drury's getting his hands fucking way too dirty right now, and it's just it's terrible. And then also you go to the fact of the last couple of games with sitting guys like Gabe Perreault and Brennan Hoffman. And listen, I don't love that Lavi's doing that. I hate that, because at a time now those guys should be playing. I mean, fucking the Canadians right now are fighting for a playoff spot, and they're choosing to play Ivan Demidov, who got an assist and a goal today. And apparently, I thought that was illegal to play one of your top guys in a game where you needed to win, but apparently not. And then it's like, the thing is, like, with Drury now, it's like, well, hold on, wait a minute, because Drury signed them, burned the year of his DLC, and now he's sitting and playing here. If Drury didn't want to see this, then I'm sorry, but doesn't Drury have the higher authority over Peter Laviolette to go to him and say, listen, these guys have to play or you're going to get fired? So the fact, and it's multiple times that Drury's allowed, for his employees to fucking bitch him. Did it with the same thing happened with Trouba during the offseason. It's happening with Laviolette now with the lineup decision. And it's like the whole organization from top to bottom is just a fucking mess.
The thing that's very the thing that tells me that it's most likely true that Drury micromanages is we're hearing the same things from when Gallant was on his way out too, that we're hearing from Laviolette, basically just saying that, doesn't really Gallant. I always look back at when he said, it doesn't matter how much talent you have. It doesn't mean you're going to win a damn thing if you don't play the right way. And he was right. And we're hearing similar things now pretty much about this group with a different coach. If that doesn't tell you that Chris Drury is somewhat involved in all this, then I don't know what does. And I think you nailed it, Phil, when you said that. I think this is just a three-way shouting match here where the players are pissed at both the coach and the GM. The coach is pissed at both. The GM is, for some reason, in love with the players, not happy with the coach. So I don't even know anymore.
With the players anymore, though.
Some of the players he is, but I mean, hopefully not all of them, because after this year, changes have to fucking be made for once.
Yeah. I think Chris Kreider and Mika Zibanejad are probably both gone. I think, and that needs to happen. And not only does it need to happen just because of all this toxicity that's going on, but I mean, Mika Zibanejad is a prime decline candidate. Like, his 5-on-5 numbers have been awful. Someone on Twitter the other day told me that he was good at 5-on-5 the last 3-4 years. Like, are you kidding? So I go to Money Puck and I look up the line combinations, and the only time that Mika Zibanejad and Chris Kreider have been a part of a top 20 line at 5-on-5 over the last 5 seasons, according to Money Puck, was Pavel Buchnevich's last year in New York. That's it. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 5 seasons right there. That's the last time that they've been 5-on-5 in any analytic by Money Puck. And the guy that was arguing with me was talking about Corsi and Fenwick. Like, dude, or you're stuck in 2012. That shit was relevant back then. So, for me, it's kind of like the situation that Tampa Bay was in with Steven Stamkos. They understood that his 5-on-5 numbers and his 5-on-5 play was declining, and they went in a different direction. And I think the Rangers need to do that here, big time. They need to get rid of those two.
Yeah,
it needs to happen sooner than later. So,
the only difference with that is, Stamkos was an unrestricted free agent. Mika Zibanejad at the end of the day holds the cards on whether he goes or not with his no movement clause. So that's
No, I agree with you, but I do think that once Chris Kreider is dealt, I think that's going to open up a door. And I think they're going to go to him. They're going to tell him, hey, we're looking to go in a different direction. You're not wanted here. And I think I not only that, but just after everything that's happened this season and
Sorry, I had to fix that.
Who's that?
What's up, Carson?
Oh, Carson.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I've ever been on a panel with you, Philk. That's crazy. But how's everybody doing?
You and Carson in the chat, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Nice to finally
Yes.
meet you then.
Hey, what's up?
But
All
I mean,
right.
I'll finish real quick and I'll let you jump in, Carson. But
Nah, it's fine.
just like after this season and everything that happened, like I think Mika Zibanejad might be more open, especially if there is a toxic environment like we're hearing back there. Especially once his best friend gets dealt, that'll be it. I think that might be really the sign that gets him, or the moment that where he's like, okay, you know what? Maybe getting out of here is not a bad idea. So, I mean, once you get rid of those two, you can start making more moves. You have more cap space. You can go get somebody like a Gavrikov. Hopefully, they don't go and give Sam Bennett $8 million a year, because that would be stupid. And I could see them doing that, sadly enough. But, I mean, do you get Bennett at 6? Okay. But
I still think that's the Kreider replacement right there. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, they're gonna move on from Kreider and then they're gonna go directly to Sam Bennett. And I'm gonna laugh. It's like irreversible shit. It's like
I'm standing by my prediction the entire way through. I think Kreider goes, they replace him with Bennett, and I think that Keandre Miller goes and he's replaced with Dmitry Orlov. I'm sticking by my guns on that one, and they'll probably overpay for both.
there's got to
Also,
be
thank you
Cody
for the
Ceci in
$2
there
time to
too.
wake up. Jury's first 48 trade
Ryan
signs.
goes, is anyone else afraid that they're going to resign K-Poke?
K-Poke.
I mean, that's literally how he plays half the time, though.
But Jury's first 48 as a GM, trades Booch, signs Barkley Goudreau, gets Reeves and Nemeth. Summarizes his tenure, doesn't it? Summarizes it all.
God.
Don't get me wrong. I like Sam Bennett, and I think that's the type of player you do need to bring in, but not at the price that he's going to command. And you gotta get a younger version of a guy like that. You gotta draft and develop a guy.
We talked about it at Tracks. Like, you don't overpay for Sam Bennett. You go and find the next Sam Bennett on a cheaper price.
Yeah.
And then you hope he becomes the player like Sam Bennett was.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, he's going to get paid for playoff numbers. Someone's going to go and do that the same way that Brian Bickle got paid. And then he ended up...
Alex Killorn.
Oh, yeah, Alex Killorn, another one. You know, they get paid for these, like, great playoff runs. Like, Jonathan Taves got $11 million. Not because he was a guy that was putting up 90 to 100 points a year, but he was scoring in the playoffs. He was a 60-point guy most of his years. 65, maybe 70-point guy if he was lucky. He had like one 80-point season. That was well after his prime years. So, but yeah, Kai Ruffer Kreider, I wish. I wish. I drive Kreider to St. Louis myself. Oh my God.
I see some kind of overpay coming in exchange for them just getting rid of Kreider, because it's basically their nature to see, like, oh, we have money to spend, let's just spend it right now and just spend it.
They did it with Trouba and then with Igor.
I was about to say, you know the Drury motto: one shit contract for another shit contract.
Yeah.
Here's what I don't get. You knew you needed a left side defenseman. You were talking to Anaheim. Why not open up that deal and bring Cam Fowler back in that deal? Like, Cam Fowler would have been a big help for this team. Really would have. He could have been the guy that could have played with Adam Fox. And that would have helped out Adam Fox a lot. Fowler's good at puck movement. He's good at transporting the puck out of the zone. He's solid in his own zone. And he's been a revelation for St. Louis.
You also could just play you also could just play Zach Jones. That could have been something they could have done.
I wouldn't want that as a pair.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I wouldn't want them paired, but playing Jones would have been a great idea. And yeah, also with Fowler too. I mean, they retained money when they shipped him to St. Louis. So, and even then, I mean, I would have took him at 6.5 with how he's been in St. Louis, but knowing the Rangers, it wouldn't have
right
translated
now,
here. But
how my timeline is looking right now, how it's lining up. Obviously, we're missing the playoffs here, and Laviolette will be gone. If they miss the playoffs next year, if team, of course, if they miss the playoffs next year, and then Drury gets fired,
Why
then
not
Alex
get
Tuck's a
Messier?
free agent.
We talked about that.
So, listen, Alex Tuck's a free agent after next year, so that's where I'm lining this thing up. But hey, a man can dream. So who knows?
I think the Rangers and Buffalo are going to talk again in the offseason.
I hope so. I hope so.
I think maybe they'll get the JJ Peterka deal done.
The hopes for Peterka died so fast. That shit. We went live for it, and then what was it, like an hour in? And who was the one who killed it? Was it?
Was it Staple?
So
was it Staple?
The reporter from Buffalo, Lance Lasowski, said they were talking.
And Saravalli confirmed it.
And then Saravalli and Lavoie came out and said it. And then somebody else said they weren't talking.
They better get talking with Buffalo because it obviously hasn't gone well recently. So,
is Kemper getting a penalty here?
If only we made a trade for someone else from Buffalo about 4 years ago.
Oh yeah, that would have been great.
But instead, we decided to prospect hug because that really worked out last trade deadline too.
Yeah, because Vitaly Kravtsov, Nils Lundqvist, Filipino, and a first was too much. Stupid. Just so dumb.
Well, Drury needed somebody to bully out of the organization. You know, he needs some hobbies.
Unreal.
This is what I said though to Joey when, because he was asking me, he's like, "Would you trade Lafreniere for Peterka 1-for-1?" And I'm like, honestly, I'm only hesitant because knowing the Rangers, they'll find a way to make Peterka regress from what he is. So that's the only reason I was hesitant. Otherwise, it would have been a slam dunk to get out of a contract that might not age that great. But
whatever he would give you, tear it up. Watch.
That's the other thing too. It's like you just know.
I mean,
just know how it would go.
The thing is that either way, it's better than what Loff was giving you after he got paid. So it's not like that's the only benefit of it. But again, Peterka, anybody that they bring in here that's supposed to be a top 6 skater or somebody, they just blend into the slop. I mean, it's like I've said, it even happened with a Hall of Fame coach in Laviolette, like I said in the chat earlier. It's just like it's not. We know what has to go in order for this to be brought to a different level.
It's all good, Brandon.
Yeah, only put up right in with Tampa and they're amazing.
Oh yeah, well let me know when that finger heals up. Yeah. Yeah.
Only put up 40 goals. Only put up 40 goals this year, you know, not too bad.
Let me know when that finger heals up.
But apparently the narrative shifted from he's a Crosby merchant to now he's a Kucherov and a Braden Point merchant. Yeah. So,
or maybe he's just a merchant of being a good player. You know, it's possible. I don't know. Yeah, that's just me. That's just a quirky little thing that I think. I don't know, but whatever.
But he leads the NHL in power play goals.
Great. But that wasn't the same narrative when Kreider was doing it. Nope. He's the best player. Look up, guys, because that's where it's going. Just gotta look up.
Forget the rafters. Look at the heavens. That's where he's going.
Gavin, he was the only one that was really doing anything against them in the Carolina series. I mean, like,
not until Chris Kreider stole his shine.
No, yeah, that's what he means, though. He was killing us in that series, killed us with Pittsburgh, and I already know. Well, those teams didn't win that series.
Yeah, well, one player doesn't win you a series.
Unless your name's Chris Kreider in Game 6. The big bad Kreider.
Big game player.
Oh, man. Jesus.
Look up.
Kreider had his 5 seconds of fame.
You know, it's great that he did that, but it's like, you know, like you call yourself a leader, and that's what, and this is how you react this season when you get criticized for your bad play. I mean, this is a guy that went scot-free for years and years and years for showing up for 2-3 weeks, absolutely destroying it, and then disappearing for weeks, maybe months at end. Like, dude, I think a lot of people don't remember 2018-19. Whether they were too young, whether they were not watching as much back then. But I do. 20 goals in his first 38 games. He had 8 goals the rest of the season and missed the 30-goal mark. Yeah, 1 primary assist this season. One primary assist.
And then 6 secondary assists this year.
They would all lap him in one game.
Fucking garbage.
The dude is the NHL's Cy Young winner. He is the NHL Cy Young Award winner. That's just, it's crazy how someone, I thought it was bad when Brandon Peary had these stats. At least Brandon Peary, that was someone that you hoped for those types of stats for because you knew he wasn't that great of a player. Chris Kreider has been around in the NHL for years. Brandon Peary with the Rangers, 2016-17, 8 goals, 10 assists, 18 points. But there was a while where he would just get in the lineup and he would score. It's just unbelievable.
Like I said, it took him to about his 10th full season to reach the 30-goal mark. Apparently, that's franchise legend material for this organization and this fan base. So, hey, whatever.
Yeah, part of that also, though, is because they don't have state tax in Florida. So they get a lot of these crazy AAV deals. Like look at Andre Vasilevsky. He's making 9.5. He'd probably be making over 10 somewhere else. And he'd have been worth it. He'd have been worth every penny. But Kreider has got to go. I know. Here's the president of the fan club. President of the fan club, and he's saying he needs to go.
# leave the game before the game leaves you.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Chris Kreider has seen himself become the villain. Kreider upped his assist count. Oh, jeez.
That'll be the sign from Drury. He's like, yeah, okay, we'll keep him. That's encouraging.
40%. I think that's a high number. It might be.
It just that's the thing though. This guy has not been benched at all for years and years and years before Laviolette.
He's been here since the very beginning. So,
remember the one time he was benched under Gallant, where he got sat in the third period, and then he was the first one out there for overtime against the Red
my
Wings?
God, yeah, that was the game where Strome missed the net in the shootout, right?
Yeah, I was there for that. It was Detroit. Keandre Miller tied the game late.
Yeah, I remember that. I was like so happy that they fucking moved him down to the 4th line, and then he's out there first shift in overtime with Mika because, yay, friendships.
Best friends.
Because the power of friendship. That's why it's
willed them to that extra point.
Chris earned the power of friendship, plus 1,800 points.
What can the Rangers get
and
for
Kreider? A waste of $6.5 million.
I don't know what the fuck the Rangers could get for Kreider at this point.
Oh, fuck, I'll take a bag of pucks. I don't give a shit.
I'll take whatever to get him off the books.
Can we package him with? Never mind. Nope. Nah.
Hope Boston is dumb enough to take him.
I'll just say it in the private chat.
Listen. If a team is just willing to take on it in his entire salary, I'll take that. Because that's $6.5 million. Fucking clear it up.
A nice crisp high five for Kreider.
It's so dumb. So dumb. I don't think he's returning a haul. I don't think it's going to be a negative return where they have to like move like several assets to move him, unless they want to open up the deal for something else. But it's gotten to a point where no, absolutely no to Trevor Zegras. That's the last thing this team.
Oh my
fuck
God.
No.
Jesus Christ, no.
But I think it's like the one player I would say just keep Kreider at that point. Cancun, Mexico, here we come.
Here we come.
First seed of
Cancun
the
on
playoffs.
3.
The Cancun playoffs.
No, this is not true. He is not the only first-round pick this team has successfully developed. Brian Leach, that would be one. Hugs for
60. You will be missed. You will be missed.
Will you remember me?
The thing is, Brandon.
Sarah McLachlan songs.
The thing is, Brandon. I don't see them getting.
It's
rid of
not
Mako.
possible. It's not possible. It
It
seriously
is
isn't.
It's possible, and I think they will.
They locked themselves in pretty good with that one. I'm not gonna lie. Like
I said, I think the toxicity is there so bad, and I think once his friends get moved, once Kreider gets moved, I think he's going to think twice.
I think he's become so checked out that he's not even going to realize at this point. I'm not even going to lie. Like I don't even. I mean, he holds so much power, though. Like, I mean, he's getting paid either way, obviously. But it's like,
but you know, these clauses can be waived.
They could be. I just don't know what's going to be because at this point, I mean,
I don't know who the hell is
smart guy.
taking him.
Who knows? But
yeah, I mean,
again,
Kaylee's really got the question right here. Like, this is really it.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Yeah, like who's taking him?
Because he's still got 5 more years at $8.5 million. I mean, that's a lot.
Because that's the problem too. Like we could talk about him waiving, but only bad teams are going to have the cap space or the willingness to potentially take him. Why would he waive to go to any bad team?
It's the type of play on the ice that obviously like everyone's seeing of him, of how he's just like, he's not the same Mika Zibanejad he was years ago. But it's like, again, we saw this with like Jacob Trouba, them taking on the full on contract. But again, that's like 1 year left. This guy's getting paid through 2030. Like you have like a decent amount of term left on this deal. Like, which is,
and the only way you probably move him to a better team is if you're probably taking on a bad contract in return. So it's a lateral move. So there's really no point in that.
Cody Ceci sign and trade. Okay.
More third pair defensemen.
Cody Ceci and Matt Dumba. Welcome to New York.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't think that there's any team that would realistically take Mika, or he would waive for any of the teams that would actually take him. And like, I don't know, would he waive for Boston?
Boston's got already too much shit fucking contracts to begin with.
That's the thing. Like, it's not like if he's going to Boston, it's not like
he is way too soft for Boston. Are you kidding me?
That too. Like, I feel like if he waives, he would want to be away from like a big medium
Darnell
market.
Nurse. No.
Darnell Nurse at a lower AAV is actually not that bad of a player. Like, it's the contract that's just terrible.
Send Mika to
with all the defensemen you got tied up right now, which are already like mediocre. It's just adding more flame to the fire to me.
Oh, of course.
Like,
I'm not. I'm just talking about in general. I'm not talking.
Yeah,
about
no,
it's
whatever. Yeah,
but like, just like, he gets a lot of shit. He plays a lot of tough minutes, and outside of Ekholm, there's like really no good defenseman on that. Well, like defensively, I should say. Like, Bouchard will put up a bunch of points, but he's not good defensively at all. Like, but I mean, for what he does and what he handles, like, he's decent. He's just overpaid by, I would say, probably about $3 million.
Listen, I heard Utah wants to make a big splash. Fucking send Meek out to Mormon country.
Utah, yeah. I don't think
Send him to Colorado so he can fucking light it up there.
They're not really looking to. I don't think they're really looking to add like somebody like him though.
Well, Mika's looking to, add some dope to his repertoire out there in Colorado.
I mean, I just watched SLC Punk the other night for the first time in a while, and that would be pretty funny. Have him go play with like Heroin Bob or something.
I don't think it makes sense for Minnesota to take on the contract because they need to save every penny for Kaprizov when he becomes a UFA in a few years. So I don't
send Kaprizov my way. I would like that. That'd be fine.
No, he's too talented.
Again, it's basically the same player. I mean, Mika for Kaprizov, same thing.
No, he's too talented.
But all the dead cap comes off the books after this season. So I mean, I think it's after next season when Kaprizov is a free agent. Pretty sure it's after next.
Yeah, it's after next. Yeah.
So that free agent class has him and McDavid in it. Just stupid.
Yeah, I think they would rather have as much cap space to spend in that free agency pool with both extending Kaprizov and potentially adding someone to play with him.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying there, but the thing is how much of an increase is Kaprizov going to get? He's at $9 million right now. Like, are we talking like is he going Draisaitl territory at 14?
Probably. I mean, Rantanen was demanding like
he's younger,
14
right?
million.
He's younger than
Rantanen only got 12.5 though.
Yeah, but you have to remember too that's where he's playing factors into that.
Yeah,
I think guys like Marner, will dictate.
Let's just say for argument's sake, let's just say 13 then, because Kaprizov's and Rantanen's numbers are pretty similar for the most part. Like his numbers in Colorado have been pretty similar. Like he's like Rantanen was like a 50-goal, 100-point player. Kaprizov had 108 in 21-22. He had 96 in only 75 games last year, 75 in 67 games a year before that. So
he was
he's like a
pretty banged up this
95
year,
to
right?
like a 105-point player.
He's got to get a healthy season under his belt next year.
That too, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because if he doesn't, that's going to tank his value a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because every season he's missing games, like just looking at it right now, outside of his first 2 years. But assuming he's healthy, I agree with Brian here. I think that he's getting 14. I could be wrong there, but, it must be nice to actually have cap space opening up because you're not paying your goalie. Any of your goalies.
The cap is going up, Evan. Shush. Enough.
Morgan at 4.1
Quiet.
Is a steal.
Quiet.
Oh man,
Hush,
I wish
kid.
I could sign another goalie for $11.5 million a year. Yeah.
Too bad it's not like we have like a top prospect down in Hartford right now, and this organization is known for developing goaltenders. But yeah,
it's
funny.
It's not like goaltenders are the most elite or the lowest valued position, and historically are paid the least. And there are so many goalies drafted in the first round every year. That's why 45 of them have been.
Well, I don't think anybody understands me. Like with Igor, he's generational. So it's like you can't pass up not locking down a goaltender who's generational, because he was 100% going to get that 11.5 mil on the market, Igor, 100%.
Igor's so generational that he needs multiple mental resets each year.
Yeah, exactly. His ghost balls hurt because he doesn't have any.
Yeah. This season, Igor was a mid 5.5 mil goalie. Now he's getting a $6 million raise.
The contract hasn't even started yet.
But he is not generational. It's
unreal.
The same people who shit on it's funny because the same people who say Igor is generational sit there and shit on Hellebuck, yet Hellebuck's the guy that's going to win another Vezina this year.
Yeah. he's actually produced like multiple Vesna caliber seasons. Meanwhile, this guy is already peaked. We know that he has, and this contract isn't even started yet. That's the thing. It's like it just. Oh my God! Getting a peek at what it is. I mean,
$8.5 million, $3 million less than Igor, but what do we know?
Hellebuck leads the NHL in games played, wins with 46, which is stupid. 924 save percentage the lead, 202 goals against the lead.
He allowed
8,
but he
goals saved above average, 39.3, which is the lead.
But he allowed the winning goal in the Four Nations, so automatically Igor's better. So that's kind of how you have to look at it.
It's the playoffs.
Yeah, no, it's the playoffs, but it's not. It's always Hellebuck's fault.
It's Hellebuck's fault.
Bad.
It's never the defense in front of him. And the people who say this shit don't look at the defense in front of him.
Yeah.
Name me somebody on that defense aside from Josh Morrissey. I fucking dare somebody to name me somebody on that defense aside from Josh Morrissey without looking at it.
You have to stop right now because Igor's the only goalie that gets bad defense in front of him. Like that's what I heard.
Dylan Sandberg is God, apparently.
Well, I mean, ever since they got rid of Trouba, it's been going downhill for there. So.
Don't sleep on Logan Stanley, man.
Logan Stanley, yeah. He's amazing. Fucking amazing.
He's someone the Rangers would take because he's fucking big and he sucks on D.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. Why would you give him that contract after identifying that your core was dog shit and you wanted to get rid of all these guys? You sent out that memo and you gave him that contract on the same day that you dealt your captain away. Fucking smart.
He didn't even give us like a few hours to breathe. He just chucked that shit at he had that shit in his back pocket the whole goddamn time. He had the contract almost finalized and everything. As soon as the phone call went through.
It's really sad how we thought that at that point they were actually, turning the right direction and going the right way, only to fucking Drury to fucking slap the shit out of us like 3 hours later and give us the fucking middle finger.
I just love how Hellebuck is the choker, but the defense in front of him, Mark Scheifele, Nikolai Ehlers is not a choker, even though his playoff numbers look more like Matt Rempe's regular season numbers. Like, I don't understand.
I caught this too, Kevin. Like, that's why I made that face. I caught that too.
Oh.
What?
No, what Matt said before.
Wait, what did I say?
You said.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I typed that in the chat because I was waiting for it, but I
didn't realize.
I caught you there on that one. Pause, but
thoughts on Drury extending Panarin? Wouldn't be surprised.
They're gonna need somebody there. And that's what I mean. Johnny Lazarus was kind of hinting at that a little bit. Seems like Panarin could be extended. I mean, if he wants to take a discount and take a lesser contract over a few years, like let's just say he wanted to stay for like, I don't know, $8 million a year for like 3 years, like 3-year, $24 million deal. Like, okay. No to Keandre 7x8. Nope. Goodbye. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. That's a guy that may never figure it out, and his problems are all mental. Like the goal that they scored, where fucking Verhaeghe's fucking scored it or whatever, he was sitting there with his back. Oh no, it was Reinhardt. Sorry, his back was to fucking Reinhardt in front of the net. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're taunting Pee-wee not to fucking put your back to the forward and then tie up your stick. Like, what are you doing?
Keandre Miller has more primary assists to the other team than Kreider had all season in in primary assists offensively.
His fundamentals are so.
I can't deal. I mean, Evan, Matt, you guys know how I feel about Keandre Miller. Every time I look up, this guy's embarrassing himself. I can't watch him anymore. I just more, please.
79 in blue.
It's pizza after pizza after pizza with him.
Look at the screen.
Pizza after pizza. Like, and then he looks at, like, he makes the same mistakes that he was making in year one. And then when the goal happens and the puck's in the back of the net, he makes this face like, God, like, the dude is literally the textbook definition of insanity. And he just continues to make the same dumb mistakes and wonders why they continue to happen. I don't even know. I've been saying this for years about this guy. Like, when he's playing well, he'll play well for like a couple of months.
And I love
watch the screen, 79 in white.
And I love how everyone like keeps falling for the same trap over and over and over again. Like, he played well with Trouba for a period of last year, and people are like, saying like, oh look, he finally took the next step. Then he played like ass. Then he played with Schneider. People thought he took the next step. It's like, oh look, Keandre, look, he's finally here. And then he comes, and then he regresses. And then Will Borgen comes in, he plays well with Keandre Miller, and people say, oh look, he finally did it again.
God.
He's back.
Comment.
And then
he
goes to ass.
Yeah.
Listen, I think one thing I will say about Keandre, I think we found this team's if man. I think we found it. Is this our if man? Keandre Miller?
We got Brett Beatty and Keandre Miller.
If skater. If skater.
If mans. If man 1 and if man 2.
The if man. If he figures it out. If he just figures it out. Oh well, he's not going to. Guess what? He's not going to. Because he sucks.
Because it's
Will Borgen fix Keandre Miller? That's right.
There is nothing in this head.
Yeah,
nothing.
Borgen.
It's not like it's going to get better in New York either way with your head. I mean, come on. Like, this is it. We need to stop playing fucking games with this shit. Like, it's just so ridiculous. It's like he's not going to get better.
Yeah. Borgen fixed Keandre Miller for 2 weeks, and his fucking reward was a 5 times 4 extension. And guess what? Now he's looking like shit again. Who would have thought?
That was that pissed me off too. Why did you give Will Borgen an extension? Well, I know why they gave Borgen.
It was a panic.
Because they wanted to make it look like they didn't fucking completely lose the Kako deal. That's the reason they did. But it was dumb to do it after 10 games. You shouldn't. You could have waited later on into the year, see how he progressed, and likely this.
They can't help themselves. They can't. They just can't help themselves.
And even with the Borgen thing, I would have found it a success if they managed to flip him for a first round pick, and they probably could have done it because teams were desperate to go out and get a guy who could quote unquote play, top caliber minutes, and you probably could have gotten that out of Borgen because because to be honest, I didn't hate the Kako trade. Like I wasn't like I wasn't totally against a guy like Borgen, but.
Yeah.
My whole thing was, okay, if Will Borgen's coming here, I either see two solutions. One, he's either shit and you let him go in the offseason for nothing, or two, he comes here, he plays well, and you reflip him for assets at the deadline. Never in my thought process was, get him and sign to an extension. Again, but that was just all a panic move.
Thank you,
ass backwards. Ass backwards.
Yeah, we all said it when they got Borgen that just flip him right at the deadline.
Because that's when they were looking all out of it, and they were looking like the best thing to do would have been to tank. They were still 2 months away from making the JT Miller trade. I mean, listen, I really don't understand the thought process. I don't. In two situations. It's two
They
different
they
things
don't have
entirely.
one. They don't have one. They don't have a thought
Yeah,
process.
you're right about that.
And this-
it's more like the lack of a thought process is what I don't understand. But you have two players that you could have waited on, and the value would have went down on their contracts big time. And there was no rush to sign.
Yeah.
Where was the fucking rush to sign Will Borgen? Where was even if your intent from day one was, all right, we're going to re-sign this guy. We're going to re-sign this guy because, we think that he's okay. And we think that, we want to kind of justify the Kako trade. Okay. So why are you rushing to sign him after 10 games? 10 fucking games. How dumb can you be? It is a total panic move on Chris Drury's part. He panicked with Shesterkin. Oh, yeah, someone was going to give Igor Shesterkin $13 million a year. Yeah, where's what that Mickey clown? Oh, yeah.
That's the thing.
Would have gotten $14 million on the open market. Okay, Shipper Brain.
Okay, let him. That's the thing. It's like let him.
Let him go touch the market.
Let him. You don't give goaltenders these types of contracts. And I see so many comments on my timeline. Oh, well, it's because of the play in front of him. No shit. That's why you don't give goaltenders these types of
that's the thing. That's what I say. I say this every single time. It's like it's like, well, Igor has no help. Well, you're not going to get him any help now. You have no fucking to do that now.
It's a totally different sport, right? But if Brian fucking Cashman can go to Derek Jeter and say, go find yourself the contract out there, then Chris Drury could have fucking done it with Igor Shesterkin.
Yeah,
instead he fucking panicked.
Fucking idiotic. It's completely stupid.
It's no sense of
Tampa
direction.
Bay could have said, hey, Steven Stamkos, go fuck yourself. Then Chris Drury could have done the same thing to Igor Shesterkin, especially after identifying that his group was not good enough to win. Rebuild!
Yeah, I had someone in my replies on one of my tweets earlier that was like, well, everyone loves the idea of a rebuild, but then they see when the team is rebuilding how it goes. First of all, actually rebuild the right way. Let's try that.
Yeah.
And
for one.
And also, I'd rather try something new than the same fucking shit over and over again. Like we saw this with Lundqvist.
Yeah, you're just gonna keep adding to the fire. Like this is the goal. You're just gonna keep adding to it, and then just hope to sneak in the playoffs as an 8th seed, just to get yourself manhandled by Florida.
But
it's
the Panthers did it.
The Panthers did do it. Actually,
and then they also the Panthers also had Verhaeghe, Reinhart, and Forsling making
an actual structure as well. Actual structure as well. And guys who actually gave a shit on the ice. That was another thing. Something we don't have.
But guys, the LA Kings snuck in as an 8th seed in 2012, and look what they did. Yay!
Yeah.
Yeah, the LA Kings had one of the best two-way forwards of all time. A Norris winner who is one of the better defensemen of his generation. A goaltender that was one of the better goaltenders of his generation.
That they didn't have to pay $11.5 million.
Yeah.
LA's fucking center core consisted of Anze Kopitar, Jeff Carter, and fucking Mike Richards. I mean, this team is nowhere fucking near that.
Drew Doughty, Slava Voinov, Alec Martinez.
That's the best part about it. That's the best part about it that I always refer it back to. I think I say this all the time. The Kings beating us in 2014, then lapping us in the rebuild now, and then they're back into contention. Like, that's insane to me. Like, it's nuts. Because at some point, what was it, like 5 years ago, we saw it was like the Rangers and the Kings have like two of the best prospects, or like, and look where we are now. Like, it's 2019. It was like, oh, these are the top two future dynasties of tomorrow.
And then they add both teams
in 2019 were the Rangers, the Kings, and the Hurricanes.
And then both teams ended up winning the lottery the next year.
Yeah.
And everyone thought that, like, there would be a rematch at some point.
Lafreniere has outplayed my field, so that's fine. Minor victories. He's higher than him on NHL Network.
Better NHL 25 rating.
Who would have thought?
That's all that
Crazy
matters, right?
concept.
Well, part of that is not just the players, but it's the coaching staff themselves, and that's where Laviolette really kind of screwed himself this year. He had a bunch of young guys that should have been playing higher in the lineup. Will Cooley should have finished with like 50 to 60 points because he should have been playing top 6 minutes all year. All year, he should have been playing top 6 minutes. Like when that start he had earlier on this year, and yeah, I get it. They were third line together, him, Hedl, and Kako. But once you decided to break that line up, you should have had him playing top 6 minutes. Or here's a better idea: why not play that line more minutes and play the little bromance twins less minutes because they're not producing because they don't want to skate at 5-on-5 because they're just doing fucking cardio out there. How about that? How about a meritocracy? Can we actually find a coach that'll let the players who are actually playing well get more minutes?
I mean, it's the fact that you have such a lack of accountability that this shit just continues to just completely carry over in this way. Like again, the certain contract that they have and the playing time but it's like when it's so noticeable, when it's so noticeable. To be honest, there was a point like with Mika and Kreider this year where even Joe Micheletti couldn't say anything nice about it, and he was just like, "Oh, here's Zibanejad," and like he was at a loss for words how bad Mika was on the ice 5v5. Like that's how bad it got, and like I don't know, I just whatever. Listen, Cooley may have played to deserve an extension, but do you even want to do that? Because they all just like nap right afterwards when they sign.
I don't think Cooley's that type of player. I think he's
6 or 7 year. Oh no. No.
When I remember when Cooley was drafted, there were two things about him that I remember like standing out like vividly for me. One of them is completely irrelevant because he's a Star Wars fan. The other one was that he wanted to be named after Tom Wilson. And for me, I was like, okay, we got our own little version of Tom Wilson. I'm cool with that. Because, again, like we said before with Sam Bennett, you don't overpay for Sam Bennett. You draft and you develop and you find the next Sam Bennett.
Yeah.
We found our Tom Wilson. He's here. Keep him. Like, he doesn't do the scummy shit that Wilson does, but he goes in there. He drags guys into the fight. He wants to be in the dirty areas. He wants to mix it up. I think he cracked the 300 hit mark tonight, if I'm correct.
I think so.
So, I mean, he has the single season record for most hits by a New York Ranger. Gee, I'm not talking about Tom Wilson and him in a fight. I'm talking about him being that type of player. That's the way he plays. Whether anyone wants to acknowledge that or not, but he plays that way. He minus the scummy shit, he plays that way. So, no, we don't need Zegras. We do not need Zegras.
Why is this
He's
still
not
a
what
topic,
they need.
man? Stop with this shit.
Zegras is not what they need. If you have enough problems, and enough of an issue with Zibanejad and Kreider and them being too soft and Panarin being too soft against teams like Florida, Trevor Zegras is not your answer because you're clearly not watching enough of him.
Trevor Zegras is the one seeing Toro behind the bench. That's really gonna fucking mix one.
Oh my god, that would be terrible. It would be days of our hockey lives. It would be a fucking soap opera. Yeah, 31 points in 55 games. That's great. After 15 and 31 games the year before. When all the other guys on the team around him are starting to break out, he's regressing. What are you watching?
but the Michigan.
Instagram
Why do you think
hockey.
Pat Verbeek did not want to give this guy a friggin' new deal? Why do you think? Why do you think Pat Verbeek was at such odds with this guy for 3 years now? You're watching a player that's gone through injuries. Good for you, because he's back from those injuries. He's healthy now. He missed a lot of last year.
And
He's
that was
healthy now.
and that was the
And he's
same thing that
still
people were
regressing.
saying.
This is the same thing with Kreider. Oh, he's hurt. He's hurt.
Yeah.
No, he just
And this
sucks.
is also the same thing where people were what was it, chesting up with the JT Miller. They was like saying, oh, well, Hedl can't stay healthy. I mean, it's the same thing here. Like, he's never on the ice.
Zegras plays 17 minutes a game, and he's 9th in team scoring. Alex Killorn has more points than sure. Alex Killorn has played more games. But look at Mason McTavish. Look at what he's doing. Look at Leo Carlson. They load managed him in his first year. He has 20 goals and 44 points.
If I can speak freely here, if I can speak freely here too with Zegras, he's also kind of a bitch. He's kind of a bitch too.
That's how.
Trevor Zegras, and I've said this before, Evan, Matt, and Carson, you've heard me say it on maybe some of these streams.
Oh no,
Maybe on a Big Apple Hockey.
I'm tired of this discussion. I don't need to hear it anymore. It's ridiculous. It's just.
But he is a poor man's version of Modano and Yzerman before they got hooked up with Hitchcock and Bowman.
Yep.
Dixie D'Amelio will be at the games. Yeah.
Sick. Wonderful. Just to add to the total of Instagram hockey that we're trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our Instagram hockey per 60.
Michi's per 60 will go up big time though.
I'll answer a few more, and then I'm gonna wrap this up because
If that's your answer, if that's your answer to a culture change, you're just asking to rub salt into the wound. I don't know what to tell you.
I just don't get how anyone can say. I don't care if anyone has played with Zegras before. That's not the.
That's the Drury mentality. He's played with him. Like, great. Fantastic.
Good for you. I played with Benoit Hogue. Do we need Benoit Hogue? Like, it's ridiculous.
He's also played with Trouba now since he got traded to Anaheim. Do we need to bring Trouba back too, along with him?
He's playing with Vakanainen.
I don't even know who the fuck that is, but that's great.
Must be nice.
But here's the
yeah,
like,
he's a big fan of Kreider. Friends.
This team is so soft and plays perimeter hockey. Again, when the teams that they're playing against in the playoffs get tough and start checking the games more tightly. So the answer to that is to bring in a guy that's soft, plays perimeter hockey, and hasn't produced in 3 years now, or 2 years now. Sorry,
but he has.
If that's the answer, what the fuck is the question?
Meat and potatoes. Take those meat and potatoes and shove them.
I know there's going to be people like, and Statboy Steven says it. Like, you can't just go and get grinders that are devoid of talent. Yeah, I don't know shit about hockey. He doesn't play perimeter hockey. Show me the fucking clips where he's going to the dirty areas to score goals. Show me the clips where he's playing defense. Show me his fucking analytics that tell me that he's such a real good defensive player, that he plays Selke caliber defensive hockey. Go fuck yourself. Fucking idiot.
I mean,
you can forget more about this fucking sport than you'll ever know. Go fuck yourself, loser.
I think. Listen, I think
idiot.
It's been so much talked about so much for Trevor Zegras. Like, that's the level we're going to. Like, this is the final piece that you need.
You have to be
like
stupid to think that that's the answer.
That's insane.
You have to be.
That's
stupid.
nuts.
This fan base did nothing but complain about the fact that we couldn't attack the middle. You think Trevor Zegras is the type of player that attacks the middle? You're fucking dumb. You don't watch him. Shut the fuck up, moron.
He'll do trick shots though. That he will do.
Sick.
At least
I'm
our
glad-
Xbox 360 per 60 is up.
Yeah.
That's what this dude is apparently doing. He's fucking playing as Trevor Zegras on Chell.
Our
Yeah.
FaZe clan per 60 went up.
Does he have a good card?
Difference maker for this team. You have to be.
Does he have a good shell card? I don't know. I can't.
God damn.
Our FaZe per 60.
No, you know what though? I'm not even gonna lie. The fucking picture with the meme with fucking Avery Zaretsky where it says least
intelligent fan graphic.
It's got to be right. It's got to be right. This is accurate. This is accurate. This is fucking accurate. Because we have people lobbying for a guy who is soft as shit, doesn't fucking play any type of defense, sucks. The eye test and the analytics tell you this. And it's a resounding agreement. My God.
You might want to fix your spelling on Genius there.
Guy has like
He also-
5 brain cells and he's
Also,
losing
every single time I've watched him play, he's always turning the puck over. Like,
Zegras.
it's just,
Zegras is fucking terrible.
yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't see what the infatuation is with him. Like, I'm 100% like.
I know you're joking, trying to wake up, but that's fucking funny.
Oh my God. I don't know. The infatuation, it's just like, if you're talking about like you're trying to add to the work ethic like of this group and actually like skating 5v5, that ain't the answer. That's the opposite of the answer. Is Trevor Zegras?
I mean, he's been playing with Strome and Vetrano, and he still can't produce.
I want to bring that comment up, but I won't do it. Yeah, he's
man.
got the mullet.
It'll be the final piece to the Mika and Kreider group. We'll say that. What a line that would be.
The Wonder Triplets.
The Wonder Triplets. The Three
Oh my
Stooges.
God. Can you imagine the 3 of them together? It'd be fucking.
God.
They would be one of the worst defensive lines in the entire NHL. Not that Kreider and Zibanejad are already fucking bad defensively as it is a 5-on-5, but it just. Oh my God.
It would just be an amplified copy of the Loft Trocheck Panarin line, like in their own zone.
It would be a Walmart version of that.
Yeah, it would be so. Oh God.
Yeah, teenage girl Twitter would go to every single. Actually, I don't know what would be more unbearable: Swifty Twitter or teenage girl Twitter if he got traded to New York.
I don't know, man. He be slaying out there.
Yeah, slay.
He would be slaying.
Slay.
Like we already get this bullshit with a.
That last comment. Oh my God. Oh man.
That's great.
I mean, we already get this whole shit with like
man.
fucking. We already get this whole shit with the overall looks of Braden Schneider. Like nobody can keep their eyes off of him, but I mean, he obviously can't keep his eyes on the fucking puck. So, but again, it's like. It's all. I mean, if you're trying to be a sideshow, I mean, sure, bring in Trevor Zegras. Go ahead, go ahead and be a Vegas sideshow. Even though Vegas already is a contender every year. That's so.
Nick, I saw that. We're in this
Catch-22.
at least. We're in this for now. Skinner needs to step up now. I believe in your rich magic, Nick.
Carson extension incoming.
Yes. 5x5. Yes.
Carson getting 5-on-5 extension, 5x5. Nice. Anaheim does not have one line in the top 60 at 5-on-5 in expected goals for expected goals percentage. Expected goals for. Let's see where they are. Anaheim has one line in expected goals for, and it is ranked number 48, and it's Gauthier, McTavish, and Fabry, which is their top line. Jesus Christ. Expected goals against total. Let's see what that is. Terry, Strome, Vetrano, which is not a line right now, which is their top line in expected goals against. That's 36.4. Expected goals for per 60.
Hope you got your front row seat, baby. Enjoy the show.
Harry Strome and Vetrano were 31st. They're, again, not a line anymore. And expected goals for per 60. Expected goals against per 60.
I feel
Harry
like
Strome
this.
and Vetrano were 13th. Gauthier, McTavish, Fabry, second. And Killorn, Carlson, Zegras were third with 351.
Yes, I mean Sosi probably is here because
good.
of Miller, but
they're bad in the defensive stats, and they're not good in the offensive stats. So, like, I don't know what the fuck we're asking for Trevor Zegras for. The Jackeye brothers? How is that going to help? I mean, Arbor Jackeye himself, like, I wouldn't mind him as like a 6. Like, I really don't think he's anything more than that.
Another 6.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I think I'm gonna wrap
my
up
depth defenseman.
I think I'm gonna wrap up the stream here because I still gotta do my Mets stream for that game. So we'll wrap it up here. We're still gonna have more to do as the season's wrapping up here. A lot to rant and talk about. But thank you everyone for tuning in and watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you know when we upload or go live. I'll see you guys in the next one.